introduction, so give us your name.
Okay, I'm Danny Sloan.
Danny Sloan, and you were a coach there at Guthrie High
Yes,
School.
yes.
Coached what?
I was the football coach and the head football coach and track coach and cross country.
And cross country.
Yes.
How long had you been there teaching?
I was there 10 years.
10 years, right?
31 years teaching and coaching in all.
31 years teaching. And was it all there at Guthrie?
No, just the last 10 years.
Last 10 years, okay. And then a couple of years back, we had an incident. Tell me what happened initially.
I just started getting sores on the lower legs, and
So these little sores, I mean, like,
they started small, and
Right.
then they kind of grew together. And of course, I didn't feel real good, felt weak, and tired all the time also, and my legs hurt most
Right.
of the time.
whole leg or just where the sores?
More my lower legs.
Right.
Yes, calves.
Uh-huh.
It just kind of progressed from there. So,
Initially, when you started getting the sores, did you go get it seen about?
yes, and I had a hard time diagnosing what it was.
You went to your family doctor there?
Yes, and to Veritas Clinic.
Oh, uh-huh,
there in
uh-huh.
Lubbock, yes.
Right. What did they think it was at first?
Well, they weren't sure. You know, I had when the sores before they started being real sores on the skin. They were under the skin, kind
Right.
of purpley, and we didn't know if there wasn't some sort of die-off from
Right.
some critters inside.
Right.
But so we just had.
What did you initially gone to Veritas for? Why did you go there initially?
Well, I had rheumatoid arthritis.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so you had
Yes.
rheumatoid arthritis. Okay.
And wanted to get off of those drugs, and I did, and I got better.
Right.
And then this hit.
Right.
So,
And so as that progressed, tell me how did it progress?
it just kept getting worse, and I kept getting weaker to the point where I couldn't stay on my feet very long. I
Right.
had Kayla got me in a wheelchair, and had to coach from the wheelchair for a little while.
Because of weakness.
Yes,
Yeah.
and they put me in the hospital. My white count was way up. They couldn't figure out what was wrong there, and the hospital couldn't figure out either. Finally, a dermatologist came in and suggested we go to the Mayo Clinic.
Uh-huh.
And they diagnosed it as vasculitis.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Autoimmune vasculitis.
yeah.
What were the drugs that you were on when you had rheumatoid arthritis?
I was on Humira. I was on methotrexate before that, and Enbrel, and then Humira, totally gotten off of all of those things
Right.
for about 4 years.
So those are what we call monoclonal antibody drugs. And what those drugs do is there's with rheumatoid arthritis, right? That's an autoimmune condition, right? Where supposedly the immune system is attacking the joints. But what's really happening is that there are critters that land there in the joints and they try to hide there, and the immune system is actually attacking the critters. It can do some collateral damage, right, because they're producing these chemicals called cytokines that is actually what does the damage to the joints. So when we initially started treating that type of inflammatory condition, right, we used steroids, right, so prednisone, cortisol. Those drugs, right, they blunt the immune system, right, so they knock out your soldiers, right, and then of course then they can't produce their weapons of mass destruction. Later on, that evolved into treatment with what we call non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, right, like meloxicam and Aleve, ibuprofen, those type of drugs that didn't have a steroidal effect, but they blocked the weapons of mass destruction. They blocked the cytokines, right, in a general sense. And then these newer drugs, like you were on, Enbrel, Humira, and so forth, well, they specifically block certain cytokines, right? Now, the problem with that is that when you compromise the immune system, then you open the door for these bacteria and viruses, right, that are always around, right? And so it appears that what happened is that weakened your immune system enough such that, again, these bacteria like staph and so forth, they're always on us, right? They were able to get in and start progressing. Your immune system didn't like that, right? So it started producing cytokines that then cause that. So it got to the point where you had to go to a specialist.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a rheumatologist, yes.
Uh-huh. No, I'm
Oh.
talking about your leg,
Oh, yes, they went to the Mayo Clinic.
right?
And saw, yes, numerous doctors there, but yes, a rheumatologist there,
Right.
who was kind of specialized in these type of diseases.
Uh-huh. And what did he have to say?
He prescribed or diagnosed it as rheumatoid vasculitis.
Right.
And suggested that we start another immune suppressant and more prednisone also.
Right.
And, so we kind of went from there. They also put me on some, because I had neuropathy with it, some
Right.
drugs for that. So
And did you get better?
I did get better a little bit. I got a lot better after I saw you.
Right.
So,
You got to a point though where they were discussing amputation.
yes,
Who did you go to that?
wound care
Oh, uh-huh.
specialist and,
Where?
in Abilene.
Uh-huh.
Yes, and they just were pretty insistent that I needed to have my legs amputated just above my knees.
Right.
Yeah, that it would never heal. And,
And so the fear there is that, once these bacteria, they kind of progress up like a
Yes.
grass fire, and then that gets into your bloodstream and it can cause death. But you decided to go an alternate route. What made you not? Did you consider the amputation?
well, for about 10 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Yes, but well, the story there, Kayla pushed me out of that office and downstairs and found a place down there and started praying for me and asked me if she could call you
Right.
and do something else about this.
Right.
And, so
So she was kind of handy to have around there, huh?
she's the best.
And so what we did, and I've explained this before, about this wound healing, right? So it's basically, like raising crops. So we need to get irrigation to that site, and we need to get energy to the site. We need to get critter killers, right? Like you would put on crops to keep critters away, and then nutrients. And so by doing that, then we've had a pretty good episode of healing here. Certainly we kept the legs. At one point I thought that I had kind of gotten Danny as far as I could take him, so I referred him to the Texas Tech. I was at the wound care or the burn unit there, right? And they've got the best team of wound care specialists there. So I referred him to Dr. Griswold that was there at the Texas Tech burn unit. And that first meeting with him, what was his assessment?
He thought he could help. He thought we might have to do skin grafts
Right.
at some point. So,
Yeah, that's what I referred you for skin
Yes.
grafts. Yeah.
but he was also impressed that there was, still some healing going on, and thought that we needed to let it heal as much as we could before
Right.
we did skin grafts.
Yeah.
So,
And so is he still entertaining that, or does he think we've healed
skin
enough?
grafts are kind of at the just if it quits healing
Right.
type.
Yeah. Well, it is healing really well now. And then I also suggested to him that we do some stem cells, and I think he took that advice and is going to put you some stem cells on. So we should be able to get that totally healed, I think. And I don't think you'll need skin grafts. So so how hard has this rehab process? How difficult has that been for you?
It's been a process.
Right.
For sure. It's been difficult, but
Lucky you've had your faithful assistant here,
Yes,
dressing.
yes.
So
Yeah.
really we have to give most of the credit right to Kayla, for doing these wound dressings. So all that healing is done in between the time that you're here with me, right, and a little bit that I do. And so much of the healing is dependent on keeping those wounds clean, because what makes wounds not heal is when they grow critters, right? And then, you know, the immune system then revs up and starts producing those cytokines again, and you just stay in a spiral of damage, right, and damage control. So that, again, has been the brunt of the healing process. It's what she has been able to do with the wound care,
Yes.
right? So we had input on the Moab formula, and then after that we also added the spackle, which has vitamin C and the black seed oil, and so it's healing really nicely there. So we're really pleased and glad we were able to help.
We started with the black seed oil before the Moab.
Oh, yeah, that's
Those
right.
wraps were painful.
They were painful.
Yes, but
That's-
well worth it.
Yeah, but that's part of healing, right?
Yes.
It takes a little pain. So,
Yes.
well, we're glad for you and happy to see you all healing up. And I think, yeah, we're gonna get you 100% here.
Thank you.